So, for the last couple of weeks, I've noticed some people joining my Discord server that have actually switched from a role to jungle, you know? And I always ask them why. Why do they switch? Lots of answers. The most common one is usually they feel like they can control the game better, you know, that sort of stuff. It's like, well, like I just have all these shit junglers, right? So I want to be the one to jungle and take over things.
They want to be the shit jungler.
Well, it probably is not going to make it. Probably they're going to be probably a lot lower than their current level, right?
Yeah.
So it got me thinking.
Yeah.
Switching roles in League. You've done it. I've never done it. A lot of people that we know haven't really like. A couple of questions I want to answer here. When's the right? Is there actually a right time to switch roles? So like. The way I thought about it, only switch like so you obviously like learning a role is like learning a skill in a way in its own part. Like if you put thousands of hours, like it doesn't make sense for me to move away from jungle, right?
I would 100% move away from mid if I could.
You would.
If I didn't have a mid lane, if I wasn't okay, I would love to spend months learning other roles. Like if I was way younger,
yeah.
Say if I was like 18 again,
yeah.
Say I was 17,
yeah.
I would have a main role that I'm very good at. I would get to challenger, try and get to challenger with one role. Then I would have a second account that I would like learn a whole new role. I would learn literally like jungle from scratch, and then I would even do that, try and get to challenger, and then I'd go top. And do it all again with top, or do it with support. I would do multi-role. That's what I would want to do.
Okay.
But I don't have the time to do that. Plus, I want to hone in on mid lane and I want to get exceptional mid lane, like be one of the best mid lane coaches in the world.
Yeah.
So I need to really hone in.
But
if I was playing more,
what would you go? What would be the first one you went to? So I mean, obviously in your career, you role swapped to top.
So I role swapped to top, and I did not want to do that.
Yeah, you didn't want to. Do that. But what didn't you like about it? Was it the role, or did you not like that you had so much experience on mid that you threw away?
At the time, it was both.
Yeah.
I had a lot of experience in mid lane, and the champs I loved. I genuinely didn't like the top champions.
Yeah.
Like, I don't enjoy playing them. I didn't enjoy playing at the time it was like Maokai, and what else? There was a lot of weird tops in that meta, but Poppy and Kennen. I actually didn't enjoy them.
They're not your philosophy on the game about skill shots.
No,
right?
no. If I would have role swap, I would have go to support. I love support. I love
support as well.
I enjoy a lot of the
but you say, okay, then my next thing was like, is there certain ones that complement each other? So like, I feel like I like support because jungle's about like control and like pressure.
That makes a lot of
vision.
sense.
So like, I gravitate towards support. I actually love playing support because I do this thing where I call like the triangle wards where I go into the enemy jungle. Remember I always used to do this? On like I'll go 0 and 20 just to get the triangles on Janna. I would suicide to get 3 wards perfectly in one side of their jungle.
But I think as a jungler, it's very difficult to learn a lane. I think it's very hard for a jungler to go like it's much easier for a laner to become a jungler than it is a jungler to become a laner.
Yes.
If you start off as a jungler, it's very likely your mechanics suck ass.
They all do, yeah.
Right? Like they're bad.
Yeah.
Most likely.
Yeah.
So it's going to take a lot of time, a lot of energy.
Because you're not spending that, like going off your video as well for junglers moving.
It's a whole different skill set.
Like you're not tethering 24/7.
You don't have to like
you're
last hit.
Kite in jungle camp.
You don't have to last hit. There's no like tethering. I mean, yes, your skirmishing's probably going to be fine, but and depending on the champions you play, but majority of the time, most junglers are going to have pretty poor.
Is there any junglers you've known that have actually transitioned to a lane really well? Doesn't exist, does it? Ambition went from mid to jungle.
I've only seen laners go to jungle. Like Pabu went to jungle. He went pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've only seen laners switch around, and I've only seen laners go to jungle. I've never seen jungle go to lane.
Maybe jungle's the worst role to learn when you start playing League.
I think jungle is a way better role later on down the track.
Got it.
Like it's way better in my opinion. Starting jungle.
Thought about that. It's actually a big hole. Yeah.
I think it actually does dig you a hole if you start jungle.
I mean, that's why I sucked. I still do suck.
Like
I just have no understanding of how to play lane.
Because laning translates. I mean, what you learn in AD carry, mid, and top, they're kind of similar.
Yeah, I don't have that skill whatsoever.
It's a skill you got to develop, a separate skill. Whereas jungle is jungle. Like it's just more game sense and more game knowledge. Anyone can, if you have basic character control, basic camera control, and like just get a bit of knowledge, and anyone can jungle. Like jungle is probably like one of the easiest to pick up at a base level. It's hard to master, but it's easy to pick up, I would say. Or it's way harder for laners to pick up laning if you're a jungler. And but in terms of that question you were saying, how what roles synergize together, I think, I mean, if I think back to players who've played multi-role, mid laners make pretty good junglers a lot of the time because they understand how to complement laners very well.
They understand when a laner's in trouble with a wave or something like that, and they
Yeah.
know when to capitalize.
That's
on it.
how I
they
got-
know. They know how it feels.
That's literally how I got Challenger as jungle.
When was that season?
It was the
8?
end of season 8, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because I played on a second account or whatever, and I played only jungle, and I played Lee Sin jungle, Camille, Jarvan, and I got to Challenger, right? I was only low Challenger though for a little bit. When I learned jungle in the off season, because I've learned 3 roles. I learned 4 actually: top, mid, support, and jungle. Jungle only did it for what? That was only probably a month and a half.
Wait,
right?
top you learned
As a pro player.
as a pro player. Support was in Korea.
In Korea, yeah.
And jungle was in end of season 8 on OS.
That's correct. And I think I did jungle for about a month and a half, was it?
Yeah, it would have been about a month and a half, 2 months. Yeah.
Around that. And I went from, to be honest with you, I only knew basic pathing. I knew a little bit about efficiency, but it was literally just gank. I knew what was gankable. I knew how to play like the fights pretty well, and I just killed people, and that won me games. But I wasn't a good jungler, you know. I wouldn't be able to adapt in metas or anything like that. But in terms of, I also think mid laners can also be good top laners because they're solo lanes, and it's all about wave management. But I think top's more, it's more in depth about wave management, like way more wave management. So I think top and mid can actually alternate quite a lot. And that's actually Richard, or Fantix, he went from mid to top really easily.
Yeah, yeah. But his Chample was...
He played like Jackson, Camille, top.
Yeah.
So anyway, if we were to recommend then, what were some good synergies? So this is I would say mid jungle. If you have mid down pat, I would recommend learning jungle as a secondary role. And I actually wanted to do a piece of content potentially about learning jungle as a mid laner. So what I wanted to do was like do a video with you,
Yeah.
getting coaching from you, and then like asking questions. Because I would ask questions what a mid laner would ask, like why do this or why this, why not do this, you know? Like these are the questions I'm hoping a mid laner would
I'll
want
just
to
focus
ask.
on tracking. You could just track so easily.
So anyway, yeah, and what champions maybe a laner should learn, or how do they figure out what champions they should play?
I'm
So
happy to collaborate with you on that video.
I think
Curtis.
that'll be a pretty cool video. So I think mid jungle is a really good one. I think if you're
What if you're a top laner?
to be honest with you, I think top laners are usually the most.
You're just once a top laner, always a top laner.
I swear top laners are one of the most dumb roles though.
Oh, all right.
Like
That's a good
macro
sign.
wise,
Yeah.
Micro they're fine.
Yeah.
But
What
I
about
think
TP usage and stuff?
I think they would get really good from learning jungle. But for some reason, a lot of top laners play AD carry secondary.
Interesting.
So many.
Interesting.
Because they're all mechanical. Top's actually, in a way, more
Super
mechanical than mid. In a weird way, because the champions that are played, there's like Fiora, there's Camille, there's like Jax, there's all like these very micro-reliant trades, like very GP. These are very mechanically demanding champions, comparatively to mid lane. Mid lane's a different type of mechanics. Like mid lane's more tethering and like weird trading patterns, but top's like constant skirmishing, you know? So I actually think top laners generally have pretty decent mechanics. It was never the case back in the day, though.
Has it got something to do with like the length of the lanes, like the same?
Maybe.
Like they're too uncomfortable with too short of a lane.
But I do think, for some reason, in my experience, top laners do enjoy AD carry, and they're pretty good at AD carry. So I would say top AD carry for some weird reason. I can't really tell you why. Mid and jungle. If you're a support player...
Wait, but remember, only mid to jungle.
Yeah. Not jungle to
shouldn't
mid.
learn mid.
I think
Dude, I think you're just screwed as a jungler.
I think jungle you have to pick
The
support.
support,
I think
yeah.
support, because you don't really need the lane mechanics, kind of.
Because you're not CS in.
But I think support's a great role, though. You can utilize your skills that you've developed
Yeah,
in the jungle.
Dude, I actually enjoy playing support. As much as like I suck at it, like I feel like I could get good at it if I like really put focus on it, you know?
Well, in my opinion, great supports they're amazing at jungle tracking. They can read the map where
Yeah.
plays are going to break out.
Yeah.
Think about the next objective. But the only element of it that you're not going to understand is like waves and stuff like that. You're not going to know how to create favorable situations in the lane, which, you know, maybe something you can learn from another channel or something like that. But anyway, yeah, that's interesting. I never really thought about that.
And then Where does support go when you talk about that? An ADC. If you're an ADC, where do you go?
mean,
ADC,
ADC
ADC plus mid. Like what does Calvin play on off roll?
He plays. I'm pretty sure he plays top.
So top lane as an ADC is
Yeah.
that's just
I'm
them.
trying to think about other AD carries. I mean, Raze used to play mid.
Yeah. Has there been any career swaps in professional play from ADC to X?
I don't know,
No one really roll swaps in pro.
No one roll source from
anyone,
AD carry.
anyone
though.
who has not been had. Wait, who's the?
I actually get quite a lot of people going from AD carry to mid.
Okay.
Who come to
That
my
makes
Discord.
sense. I mean, it's pretty mechanics, right?
A lot of people come to my channel, from AD carry. I actually get a lot of AD carries watch my content in general.
Oh, really?
I even get it on my Twitch chat saying, "Hey, I'm an AD carry," and a lot of them commented on my micro video, which is interesting because they feel like they're not in control of their games. Which was actually one of the questions we're going to answer later so we'll riff off that later on in the question and answer section. But probably I guess AD carry is a weird one, man. I'm assuming top lane though because it's more mechanical. But anyway, and then support.
Afremu switched from support. Oh wait, Afremu was ADC originally switched to support. I mean, he is successful with CLG.
What was Lemon Nation? Was he always support? I swear he was something else before that.
No, you're thinking of another support player.
There was another support player that rolls from either jungle to support or support.
Oh yeah, I think it was Yellow Star.
Was he AD carry and he went to support, right?
Yeah. Maybe support's just switched to ADC.
I have no idea.
Because they understand the lane or something like that.
And then support, I think just jungle maybe.
No, support, like just ADC.
I'll support AD carry, you reckon?
Oh, but then also, so I think ADC can go everything but jungle.
Yeah.
And support can go
that can't
only
go
to
jungle.
ADC.
Yeah. But a lot of the Korean pros are very good at most roles.
Yeah. If you want to be one of the best players, you need to play.
You got to play a lot. But for the average player,
Yeah.
That's interesting. It's very interesting. But I actually got way better at mid lane after playing other roles. I got better at mid after I come back from Korea and learning support. Because I was so good at understanding
it's like open
roams
up a
and
little
stuff.
extra bit of your brain. It's like, oh, okay, that's what that person's feeling.
And I got much better. I got much better at laning as well after doing my after jungling as well. Like just to know what the kill threat was.
Yeah.
And the importance of not dying to ganks. Like you die to one gank, the jungle is in such a good spot.
Yeah, it's also if that jungler fails that gank, he's in a bad spot.
The importance of avoiding ganks or wasting time.
Huge.
If you waste the jungler's time, especially in that meta when it was Rek'Sai,
Camille,
Jarvan,
it was level 2
Camille
junglers. That's when Scuttle Crab spawned at 230, right?
Yeah, and it was all about those early scuttle fights. It was all about early pressure, level 2 ganks, and things like that. Like I would Jarvan level 2 gank all the time. That's all I did. I would go like red through mid and then get top scuttle or whatever it was. It was like super cheesy stuff. But yeah, that's what opened up for me.
The other thing I wanted to touch on before we move on from this topic is when is the right time for someone to switch roles?
I mean, I actually get this question quite often in terms of role selection. Like, how do I pick my role?
Yeah.
Dude,
I guess that's probably the
it
same
just has
question.
to come it has to be your gut feeling, what you enjoy the most. In my opinion, it's actually nothing to do with what is best for climbing. If you're role swapping to jungle because it's best for climbing, then I think
That's the wrong mindset.
the only role that is worth swapping out of, even if you enjoy it, is AD carry. Because AD carry, in order to be good at AD carries, you have to be very good micro-wise. And some people just don't have it. If you're like the average 25-year-old dude who really just started playing League, you're going to have a very difficult time playing AD carry. You're going to have way more fun at the game, even though, yes, temporarily you may not enjoy it, but the level in which you will reach as a support or a jungle or a mid laner or a top laner is going to be much more enjoyable than what you would have otherwise been able to reach as an AD carry. That's how I feel. AD carry is the only role in which I would recommend people to swap out of if they're not mechanically gifted. Okay. So outside of that, I don't think you should swap. It's all about what you enjoy the most.
You got to have fun because it helps you play the game and improvement as well, right?
Yeah,
if you just hate your role. But again, people will start hating their roles for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, they do.
It's just like an excuse or start blaming things.
It's just an excuse because they're going to get to that same level at the same problems in the next role. Because that's the way the game works. You can get to a certain point by yourself or with X amount of resources or with X amount of thought and dedication towards the game. And then to take things to the next level, you have to put in a lot of effort. You have to maybe get coaching or you have to maybe spend more effort watching VODs or whatever it is. That's the plateau. And then you got to break through that plateau. Then you got to level up your game. So at the end of the day, it all comes to fun because I say the exact same thing to One Tricks. People say, "Oh, Curtis, what's the best champion of One Trick?" I say the exact same answer every single time, and the answer is, it doesn't matter. There's no yes. Even if I were to tell you, "Hey man, hey Sam, little Sammy, the best champ to One Trick is Yone. You should One Trick Yone." They get 30 games deep. They start losing every game. And then they'll come, "Oh, this champ's like, I don't know about the champ." If you love that champion, you will find a way.
I figured it out with
Little
Lydia.
Sammy will find a way
Yeah.
to make Yone work no matter what.
Yeah.
And that's that's why every One Trick works.
Yeah.
That's why you see AP Rakan, some random AP Rakan player in Grandmaster, or some random Graves mid One Trick, or some random Pike mid. They are obsessed with that champion. Same as Katarina. Like, you can make any champion work to a certain extent, to a high elo.
To
But
at
you gotta be
least
obsessed.
Diamond 1.
I think you could probably get every champ to at least Master.
Okay.
But the thing is then certain champions kind of cap out. Like, you're not going to be able to play like, KO mid to rank 1, or like AP Giant mid to rank 1. Like, there's certain like things. Anyway, yes, you can literally say, "Oh, but Curtis, how do I play X champion to this level? Like, what should I play this champion?" It's like, if you love it and you want to One Trick it and you want to be obsessed about it and you want to find solutions to problems, fine. Because then you got to get into the runes, you got to get into the itemization, the game pace, creative ways to level up certain abilities to escape certain lane matchups. It's like that Dunn guy, the Victor player. Like, he figured out all these niche rune pages and ways and itemization to play, like ways to play the lane to navigate every single matchup. Even though Victor's like, dog shit in most games in high elo.
One Tricks are actually super important for the game, if really, because it actually impacts pro play. Because I remember there's a story. Have you heard the one about the Alawi guy in Korea? I think I heard like Alice or something like that talking about it. But there's this one guy in Alawi. People know how strong Alawi is based on this one guy in Korea, based on his rank.
Right.
So
he's like perfected the champion.
Yeah, he plays it all the time. So it's like he's like sitting in Diamond 1 or something like that at the time. And it was like, "Oh, Alawi sucks." But then he got to like challenge, like, "Oh, we're gonna play Alawi."
Oh, that's awesome.
Literally, this one guy, people just look at him to know the strength of Alawi.
That's so cool.
How cool is that?
Yeah, there's so many One Tricks that innovate builds.
Yeah.
You were talking to me about the Hecarim guy.
Yeah, the Can See You. Yeah, that was really, really. I mean, that's what everyone copies.
Everyone copied
his
him
style,
off of One Trick.
in
Yeah,
worlds right now.
They just innovate. Yeah, they're important. I mean, they're never going to be pros. It was highly unlikely they're going to be pro players. Like, even Doinby, I was watching Doinby stream or whatever, and he was talking about how like One Tricks can't be pro players. He was saying that. He thinks that they can't be. He said, yes, they can play, like, they can be very good at one champion, but they also have to be able to play other champions. That was like Showmaker. Showmaker was like a Katarina One Trick, but then he was also very good at other champions he played, But anyway, yeah. What were we talking about before that? I actually lost train of thought.
Well, we went from roll swap into One Trick because people would say that you would like, which champion Curtis do I want?
Oh yeah, it's all about fun. Yeah, we're talking about
fun.
Like fun.
Yeah, fun's really
Enjoyment.
important. Enjoyment.
It's very important.
Enjoy the champion. Enjoy the game. It helps you improve quicker.
Yeah.
If you hate a champion, you're not going to get anywhere. Like literally, you can be
even if
treading
you
water.
think it's even if you don't even not like it, even if it's just average,
Yeah.
you gotta love it. You gotta be obsessed.
Love it. Yeah. Like, I'm going to master this champion no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, at all costs.
That's the mindset.
Definitely.
I did with Udia.
Did it with
Shittest champ in the game.
the worst champion in the game. Ridiculous.